Hey guys, that Cinephile guy here. So, being the 30th of June, it's obviously the middle of the year. So today I've decided to do kind of a review of the year so far. So I'll be talking about my favourite films of the year, basically. Films I've really sort of dug and really sort of stuck with me. So I'll start off by sort of clarifying, mainly for my overseas viewers, the films that I'll be sort of discussing. You'll notice some of them will be sort of 2014 films, but a lot of them didn't actually come out here in Australia until sort of January, February this year. So that's why they're kind of here. Anyway, technical stuff aside, this year has been a pretty solid one. Hasn't been an amazing one, but I think there's been a lot of solid work so far this year. Some kind of terrible films, but on the whole, it's been pretty solid. Like our three massive blockbusters, Avengers, Furious 7, and Jurassic World. They've all kind of been along the same sort of level, quality-wise. Really sort of fun, entertaining films, and I sort of dug all three of them. So it's a really sort of good sign that the three biggest films of the year are actually really good. It's always good. The only sort of terrible ones that I've seen this year would have to be Human Centipede 3, which is one of the most irritatingly obnoxious films I've ever seen, ever. And 50 Shades of Grey, which I was kind of expecting to be awful, and was. So that, didn't really disappoint or whatever. It was just there. That's for another day. But yeah, so they're the only really sort of two terrible films I've seen this year. Everything else has kind of ranged from being kind of mediocre to absolutely amazing. So that's a pretty good sort of start. I'm sure there's heaps of other stuff that is coming this year. So yeah, basically I'll be doing like a top 5 list of stuff of my favourite films this year. So I sort of want to talk about the films that didn't make my list, but you should definitely see, that I highly, highly recommend. They would be Wild Tales, Inherent Vice, It Follows, Selma, and Citizen 4. All 5 films that you should really see. Absolutely check out if you can. Not quite great enough to get into my top 5. It's really hard to do a top 5 list, but great nonetheless. Anyway, I'm going to start with my top 5 list. So, number 5. Number 5 is Xavier Dolan's Mummy. Now, this is one of the most emotionally arresting films that I can sort of think of that I've seen in recent times. I was thinking about it, I was sort of emotionally hit by it, and I was thinking about it for weeks afterwards. It's just a really, really well-crafted drama. I've sort of dug a lot of Dolan's stuff before, but I found some of it a little bit self-indulgent. This one, though, was the perfect balance between that sort of style and substance that he was sort of lacking. It was just sort of everything. It had everything that you wanted an emotional drama to sort of have. Killer soundtrack, 2 of the best performances of the year, and a really cool visual style. It was sort of shot in that 1-to-1 sort of Instagram ratio, which was really cool. But yes, there's so many great, memorable scenes in this film that just make me want to sort of dive back into it, even though it's so emotionally sort of draining and emotionally gripping. But yeah, this one really stuck with me, so it's definitely a great one for my top 5 list. So that's number 5. Number 4 is Ex Machina. Now, I really love my original sci-fi, these kind of intriguing sort of sci-fi, low-budget kind of films, and so I was really looking forward to this one, and this one is just damn creepy, and I really loved that. It really got under your skin. Which, speaking of which, is kind of, Ex Machina is kind of this year's Under the Skin, the film from Scarlett Johansson, film from last year. It's sort of a really arty sort of sci-fi film that really sort of gets to you. But yeah, it was really an inventive, really thought-provoking, really cool visually. Really, really, really cool sci-fi. One that sort of makes you think about sort of a lot of different ideas and stuff. So yeah, Ex Machina is definitely another one of my favourites this year. So number 4 is Ex Machina. Number 3 is Mad Max Fury Road. Now, you all knew this was coming. I've been raving about it all year, ever since I saw it. And, I mean, what else needs to be said about this film? It's got some of the best action ever seen, ever. I'm still my mind is still blown from it months later. Just a really, really well crafted action film. A lot of people sort of underestimate how well made it actually is. A lot of it is visual storytelling. I've heard a lot of people say it's got no plot or anything, but it's all about the visuals, and there's barely any dialogue in this film. And I loved how George Miller sort of used the visuals of it to sort of get us into these characters. So that's really impressive, especially in a crazy action film like this. Obviously, this is some of the craziest stuff you've ever seen. So that the feminist aspects of it, which was a freaking treat to watch. Great performances all round, and yeah, need I say more? If you haven't seen Mad Max Fury Road, what are you doing with your life? Go see it. Number 3, Mad Max. Number 2 is Birdman. Now, we all know this won the Oscar. Whether you think it should have won the Oscar or didn't is a story for another day. I went to see this film when it came out in the cinema, and I really liked it, but I thought it was kind of lacking something. And it wasn't until I watched it again on Blu-ray at home that I sort of really saw what it kind of was, and I realised how many ideas and how sort of thought-provoking this film was. And I realised that this one is one that I will sort of endlessly rewatch just because I can sort of pick it apart. Obviously the cinematography and the editing and the visuals of it, we all know how great they are, and they sort of speak for themselves. But yeah, what sort of keeps driving me back to Birdman, why it's one of my favourites of the year, and why I think it's actually a masterpiece, is how many ideas are sort of hidden in between it. Some people might see it as a little bit on the nose at times, and I kind of see that, but on the whole, it's just sort of worth seeing for how ambitious and how daring this film is. It's just really creative and really ambitious, and there's so many ideas. I keep saying that, but it just sort of blows my mind how I sort of skipped over that the first time. And I really can't wait to rewatch it again and sort of just pick it apart, and I'm still thinking about the ending. Yeah, whether or not it deserved to win the Oscar or whatever, I think Birdman is an absolute masterpiece. And yeah, absolutely number 2. And my number 1 film of 2015 so far is Inside Out. Now, you all saw my review last week of it, so you sort of know where I stand about this film. But yeah, I'm still thinking about how great this film is, and how it got to me, so much. I really think it's a special film for me. It's one that's sort of, hit me really hard, and not many films sort of have. So yeah, I have said this before, but it's, spectacular animation, just ingenious writing, amazingly ambitious and creative. And yeah, just one that will sort of change the way you think about, stuff. And it's kind of everything that you sort of ask. It's sort of everything that you ask from a film, basically. And yeah, it's why it sort of sums up why we go to the cinema. It sort of makes us realize again the power of cinema and what cinema can do. And that's something that's really sort of amazing in what's essentially an animated kids film. So the fact that Pixar can sort of do that with this is just mind blowing. So yeah, Inside Out. I think it would be hard. It would be hard for anything else to top it at the end of the year, but we'll see. But for now, halfway through the year, Inside Out is my number 1 film of the year. So that's it. Hopefully we'll be back at the end of December for some more great stuff, and we'll see where everything else stands. So I'll see you next time. Bye.